When Madison was 7 years old, we began to realize that she had some kind of impairment in recognition. As we were teaching stranger danger to her, it didn't really seem to sink in. And one day, she recognized a stranger as someone she thought she knew because of their glasses that they had on. And she was very insistent that this was someone that she knew that was our next door neighbor because he had glasses on, when in fact it looked nothing like the neighbor and was about 30 years younger than our neighbor. But she kind of honed in on the glasses as a feature that was able to help her recognize. So we realized then that there was a problem, but we really didn't know what it was until she was about, I guess, 10. And then we stumbled across the term face blindness in a program that we had heard on TV. And we heard the term and instantly we knew that it had a name, and that was what she had as well. And as we've sort of researched a bit and learned how she recognizes people, it's usually by a hairstyle or eye color sometimes, or a voice. She will struggle to recognize people that have a similar hairstyle until she hears them speak. And then she can usually identify them after a few seconds if it's someone she knows. She's actually very lucky on the face blind scale, because there are many people with the disorder who can't recognize themselves or their family members. So she's pretty high functioning in that regard, and that she can learn to identify people that she sees very often. But if she doesn't see them regularly, the memory of them fades.
It's a daily struggle to keep Madi safe, and Rebecca eventually had an idea. Even though it was a long shot, she decided to give it a try.
It just came into my mind, a dog. I mean, blind children have dogs, autistic children have dogs, people with physical challenges have dogs. Maybe a dog would help, but I really didn't know.
They had a plan and were excited, but the most difficult part was now about to begin.
And so I just kind of went on Google on the computer and started looking for dog trainers, and thought, I don't even know if what we need from a dog can be done. Nobody knows what it is, and I'm going to have to find out. And so I started looking for people who sounded on the internet that they had experience, and didn't really find anyone that struck me as standing out from the crowd until I came across the website for Christine and Hilton. And then when I started reading about the background, I realized then, if anybody knows what a dog can be trained to do, it's this family. So I decided to contact them, and Christine was wonderful. She talked with me on the phone for a long time, and said that it sounded really interesting, and she had some ideas. And so I guess she talked with Hilton behind the scenes, and she called me back and said, I think we want to give this a shot. We need a new challenge, and this sounds really exciting, and it's a great thing. So let's figure this out.
Daddy! Oh, you come here.
You got him?
It's hard to believe that the relief Rebecca, Madi, and the rest of the family's looking for could lie within a little fur ball Madi is named Dutch.
I am going to fight to make things better for my daughter, or die trying. I'll never give up trying to find ways to make her life successful and independent, and for her to be happy. Hopefully she can do those things without me someday. As much as I want to be there for her forever, the best thing for her is to stand on her own.
Kind of when we're dealing with small children, we have safe words where we teach the adults that are supposed to pick them up from school what the password is we can actually teach a body cue or a word to him to let him know that the person's okay. So and then it's a lot easier for us as an adult to be able to cue him to let him know. And then if not, he'll be big enough that he can actually pull Madi out of a situation.
Okay.
Well, several of the reasons why we went with the Bouvier de Flanders. One, we wanted a bigger dog. We wanted something that was going to be able to pull a cart, move objects if we need him to move objects, things along that way, along that lines. They're natural herding dogs, so a lot like your shepherds and your Malinois and your Belgian sheepdogs and all the dogs that we use for police work. They have a really good work ethic. They're non-shedding. They're hyperallergenic, so it's a great dog for to be indoors, and you don't have to worry so much about a lot of that things. They're just really a really good all-around dog. You really don't see you don't see them too much as far as out in the populace. Most people haven't heard of a Bouvier. Where I actually came across them was in the military. In the early stages of my canine career, one of my sergeants actually worked a Bouvier. We had quite a few in the Air Force inventory for a while, and then they kind of just phased them out and went more with the Malinois, just because there's a lot less grooming needs. Even though they don't shed, you can see he's a big fluff ball, so he does require haircuts quite often. Really, in this phase of Dutch's training, it really is just the same as any other puppy would be. We want to. Dog training is really it's a pyramid. We want to build that strong foundation, because everything we do from this point on is going to be built off of the basic things that we're already doing. If we don't get them potty trained right, then we can't take them into social places like the schools or a hospital or anything along that lines, because then you got to worry about the potty training. And same thing, we can't teach them the advanced obedience tasks without first teaching them all the basics.
One of the most amazing things about Madi is as many things as she has against her. For all intents and purposes, we say that. She has so many things going against her, but she has so many wonderful things about her too. And she has such a big heart. She's an angel. She would give anyone the shirt off of her back. Even someone that's not kind to her, she continues to be kind to them because it's the right thing to do. My mother, her grandmother, who she's very close with, is a clown at Cook Children's, and my mother also has muscle disease, and her health is very, very poor. And she decided 2 years ago, out of the blue, as a way to give and to keep herself positive, was to become a clown. And so she went through all of the training and the certification and the orientation, and she clowns at Cook Children's on Fridays and goes and visits very, very sick children, and takes her violin and wears her tutu and her big red nose and goes and visits the children and takes them tiaras and crowns that Madison makes so that the other children can be princes and princesses, because she thinks that everyone needs to be a princess and a prince. And that's my child. She's